The Clock Beneath the Sleeping City, Part 3. When Time Chooses. That night, the city slept more deeply than it ever had before. Above the streets, windows dimmed one by one, as if the buildings themselves were closing their eyes. Below, the underclock listened. Elias stood at the edge of the vast shaft, looking down into the layered machinery that descended beyond sight. The soft glow of lantern light barely touched the depth beneath him. Chains moved slowly, gears turned with deliberate patience, and the pendulum's swing, now markedly slower, felt less like a measurement and more like a question. Mara stood beside him, her presence calm, grounded, as though she belonged to this place in a way Elias never could. "The city is almost ready," she said quietly. Elias did not look at her. His gaze remained fixed on the figures standing along the platforms, those who had chosen not to sleep. Their eyes were open, unblinking, aware in a way that felt heavy even from a distance. "How long have they been standing there?" he asked. Mara followed his gaze. "Some since the first waking, others more recently. And they remember everything," Elias said. "Yes." Elias swallowed. "What does that do to a person?" Mara's answer came after a pause. "It changes what rest means." The underclock ticked. Long pause. Tick. The sound rolled upward through the shaft, through the tunnels, through the sleeping halls, and into the city above. Elias imagined it like a tide moving under stone, unnoticed but absolute. He thought of the baker's laugh, the fisherman's shrug, the old man's warning. "You shouldn't listen to the ground." "Why me?" Elias asked suddenly. Mara turned to him. "You ask that as if you've never listened before." He exhaled slowly. "I fix clocks. I don't decide when cities sleep." Mara's eyes softened. "You already know that fixing something doesn't mean controlling it. It means understanding how far it can go before it breaks." Elias closed his eyes for a moment. Imagine, if you will, standing where he stood, feeling time slow around you, hearing your own breathing become part of a larger rhythm. Imagine the strange peace of knowing nothing demands immediate action, and the quiet terror of knowing that something still must be decided. When Elias opened his eyes again, the underclock had slowed further. The pendulum hovered at the far end of its arc, hesitating, waiting. But in truth, a deeper secret hid behind it. Mara led Elias away from the shaft and into a narrow spiral stair that wound upward along the chamber wall. As they climbed, the air grew lighter, less dense, and the faint scent of lavender returned, subtle but persistent. "Not everyone sleeps here," Mara said, as if answering a question Elias had not yet asked. He glanced at her. "I noticed. There are thresholds," she continued. "The city rests in layers. Some people only need a moment. Others need more." "And the ones who don't wake?" Elias asked. Mara stopped. The stair curved above them, disappearing into shadow. Below, the underclock's ticking continued, steady and calm. "They don't wake as they were," she said finally. Elias's chest tightened. "So they do wake?" "Yes." "Then why the name?" Mara met his gaze. "Because from the city's perspective, they are no longer part of its waking life." Elias felt a quiet anger rise, not sharp, not explosive, but firm. "You're talking about people like pages in a book," he said. "Useful or not." Mara shook her head. "No, I'm talking about stories that end before the reader is ready." They resumed climbing. The stair ended at a small chamber carved directly into the stone. Unlike the others, this room was bare. No beds, no symbols, no machinery. Only a circular opening in the floor from which warm air rose in gentle waves. At the center of the room, suspended just above the opening, hovered the underclock's heart. It was smaller than Elias expected. Not massive, not imposing. A simple, beautifully crafted mechanism of interlocking rings and slow-moving hands, glowing faintly with a soft golden light. It turned without sound, guided by forces Elias could sense but not name. "This is where the decision happens," Mara said. Elias stepped closer. The warmth from the heart settled into his bones, easing the tension he hadn't realized he was carrying. "What decision?" he asked. Mara's voice was calm, but there was something like reverence in it. "Whether the city continues as it is, or remembers why it needed rest in the first place." Elias frowned. "Those sound like the same thing." "They aren't." Mara gestured toward the opening in the floor. Through it, Elias could see faint images, reflections, like memories cast onto moving stone. He saw the city during the Great Sleep, bodies resting where they fell, streets quiet under unmoving skies, the sea breathing without witnesses. Then he saw the waking, confusion, relief, loss, people searching for pieces of themselves they could no longer name. "This is what happens when rest comes without understanding," Mara said. "The city survived, but it forgot why it needed to stop." Elias watched the images shift. Now he saw something else. A future. People waking slowly, intentionally, returning from sleep with memories intact. Grief still present, but softened. Time moving forward, but at a pace that allowed breath. "And this?" Elias asked. Mara nodded. "This is what happens if the city learns to rest without erasing itself." Elias looked back at the heart of the underclock. "And what does it need from me?" Mara did not answer immediately. "It needs someone," she said, "to slow it down when it forgets that humans are not meant to be perfectly balanced." Elias's breath caught. "You want me to stay?" "Yes." He laughed softly, not amused. "Forever?" Mara considered. "As long as the city needs you." "And what happens to you?" Elias asked. Mara smiled. "I have already done my part." Elias stared at her. "That's not an answer. It's the only one I have." But in truth, a deeper secret hid behind it. The underclock's heart pulsed once. The light brightened, then softened again. Elias felt something shift, not in the room, but inside himself. A memory surfaced, uninvited. His uncle's workshop by the sea, the sound of waves against the hulls, the old chronometer ticking steadily as the world outside rushed and changed. "Time," his uncle had said, "isn't what moves forward. It's what we carry with us." Elias looked at Mara. "You said some people choose not to sleep," he said. "Why?" Mara's gaze drifted toward the opening again. "Because they're afraid of what they'll lose if they do." "And what do they lose?" Elias asked. Mara's voice was barely above a whisper. "Control." Elias nodded slowly. "And the ones who sleep deeply," he said. "What do they lose?" Mara met his eyes. Urgency. The underclock ticked again. Long pause. Tick. The city above sighed in its sleep. Elias stepped closer to the heart. The warmth intensified, not unpleasant, but heavy with meaning. "If I stay," he said, "I become part of the machine." Mara shook her head. "No, you become part of the listening." Elias smiled faintly. "That sounds worse." Mara smiled back. "It usually is." Silence settled between them, thick but gentle. Imagine standing there too, feeling the pull of rest, the promise of stillness, the cost of awareness. Imagine how tempting it would be to choose sleep, and how difficult it would be to choose responsibility without urgency forcing your hand. Elias took a deep breath. "I won't let the city forget itself again," he said. Mara's shoulders eased, just slightly. "And I won't let it sleep so deeply that it never wakes," Elias continued. The heart of the underclock glowed brighter. Mara inclined her head. "Then you understand." Elias reached out. His fingers brushed the surface of the heart. The mechanism responded immediately, not with sound, but with sensation. Time stretched, folded, then settled into a new rhythm. The pendulum below slowed further, then steadied. Tick, pause, tick, balanced. The city shifted. Above ground, a woman stirred in her bed and turned toward the light of early morning. A man dreamed and did not wake, but when he would, his grief would feel lighter, not gone, but softened. Somewhere else, someone would wake with full memory and full weight, ready to carry it. Below, the sleepers breathed. Some began to stir. Others did not. Elias withdrew his hand. The heart dimmed to a steady glow. Mara exhaled, a sound Elias realized she had been holding back for a very long time. "It's done," she said. Elias looked at her. "Is it?" Mara smiled. "For now." But in truth, a deeper secret hid behind it. Time passed differently after that. Elias remained beneath the city, not trapped, not imprisoned, but rooted. He learned the rhythms of the underclock, the subtle signs of imbalance, the way the city's emotional weight shifted with seasons and storms. He listened. Sometimes he adjusted, barely. Sometimes he did nothing. Above, life continued. The baker woke with a strange sense of calm she could not explain. The fisherman found himself resting longer between journeys. The old man from the pub dreamed of stone and smiled in his sleep. Mara visited less often. When she did, she seemed lighter each time, as though parts of her were slowly returning to the surface. "Will you ever leave?" Elias asked her once. Mara considered. "Perhaps," she said, "when the city learns to listen on its own." Elias nodded. The underclock ticked. The city slept. And when it woke gently. Imagine now the city as it is tonight. Streets quiet, lights low, people resting without knowing why they feel just a little more at ease. Imagine the slow movement of time beneath their feet, careful and kind. Imagine sleep not as an escape, but as a conversation. Because somewhere below, a watchmaker listens. And time, for once, is in no hurry. But when the next imbalance comes, who will hear the clock before the city falls too deeply asleep again?